In the last episode of 2024, I interviewed Sylvia from Backyard Brushes. She is juggling a full time job while running a successful business. Her business is very well known for hosting workshops, and this has been just absolutely huge for her small business. If you've been thinking about incorporating workshops into the mix of your small business, then this is an episode that you definitely want to give a listen. Now, in this week's episode, I'm going to be doing a little bit of reflection on the podcast and where I see it going in 2025. If you want to hear what's in store for the new year, then you'll want to stick around.
Welcome to the Rescued and Upcycled podcast with weekly inspiration, tips on trying new techniques, and overall real talk about owning your own DIY business. Now, here's your host, Sonnet Ullenbrock.
Welcome back to Rescued and Upcycled. I'm your host, Sonnet Ullenbrock. I should say, not just you, we are officially in 2025. I mean, honestly, where did the past year go, you guys? First off, I just want to give you all a huge thank you. Thank you for always joining me on my podcast. I mean, if you're new here, welcome. And this is officially season 2, but episode 42. So, again, if you are new here on my podcast, what I've been doing is interviewing creatives or small business owners every other week. And then I just love talking about all things business. So, I am really hoping that I have been inspiring all of you along with my guest host. And in today's episode, I'm really going to be reflecting on my podcast, you guys. I want to do just a little reflection on 2024 and where I see things going in 2025. If you have been listening, right from the beginning of my podcast, the very first couple where I really dove into like how I started my small business, why I decided to do podcasting, you'll remember that really I started off that podcast with how my business started, like I said. And well, this week, my husband actually asked me, do you know what today is? And you guys, I honestly had no idea. I sat there and I was thinking about what today could actually be. And I'm like, I don't know. I finally just said to him, hun, I don't know what is today. And I kind of was laughing because he always tries to stump me, you guys, because my husband has an amazing memory and he knows details about every single fish we've ever caught or like every moment up north. Do you remember when we were at this boat landing and blah, blah, blah. And so he always like tries to, like trick me because I don't have, honestly, I have a good memory, but not like every single little detail like him. So he finally said, well, honey, 14 years ago today, you were in the hospital. And you guys, I started to feel all the emotions of that day. That was the day that actually, really changed the trajectory of my entire life. And what really surprised me though was every year on that day, I used to reflect, like and feel every single moment of that day. And, every year leading up to that day, I would just absolutely feel scared. And I'd have this rush of emotions that would just hit me like a brick wall. And I would think and thank my lucky stars, like, I'm still alive. Thank you, Lord. And I felt so grateful. Every year I would just sit there and I would say thank you. And I'd feel so grateful that I had a second chance at life. And, I just felt like the Lord gave me a second chance to show up, to inspire and encourage others to create. And I felt so thankful and blessed. And as I was sitting there, I'm like, this is the first year that leading up to it, I wasn't worried about it. Because when something like that happens to you guys, there's always the worry of the what ifs, and it can like eat you up and it can overtake you. And leading up, I would always be like, what if it would happen again? Like, what if something else would go wrong, like that is similar? Like, what if there is really a problem and because they don't know why it happened? And so like there's all these what ifs. And I would try to like put it out of my mind, but always in the back of your mind, you always think like, tick tock, tick tock, I only have so much time. And, anyway, there's just worry. Okay. So I honestly can officially say, finally, I think I'm at peace with what happened to me. And when I think about it, I did get a little scared. My heart kind of skipped a beat, you guys. But I do realize that everything happens for a reason. And I think it was very eye opening to me when this all happened. And it was just, God's way of saying, I'm giving you a second chance. And now I'm trying not to, like, I'm like, okay, can I say this all without getting teary eyed and emotional? Because even though it was 14 years ago, all the feelings, like I said, like it was like yesterday, you guys, and it was so scary. It was the scariest time in my life. But because I do have the second chance at life, I truly do want to make a difference. And I felt like that was God's way of saying, like, here's your second chance and go get him. So that was my first reflection of the new year. And the second was, you guys, I am just so proud of everything that I accomplished last year. I mean, this podcast was just a mere thought like over a year ago. And now look, we are in the second season, or season 2 or whatever you want to call it. But I just can't believe it that I've taped 42 episodes. And I've interviewed so many amazing creatives, learned so much from each of them. And you guys, I just love hearing their stories and their beginnings and what they've all been through. And I just love sharing those stories with all of you. And there's so much love to go around. And I just love showcasing different creatives out there that have so much to offer. And I cannot wait to find different new creatives to interview this coming year. So, like I always say, if there are people that you would love for me to interview, I may not even know them and they may not even know me, but I would love for you guys to, in the comments, let me know who you would love to see me interview. Because, like I said, I just want to interview as many new people as possible. And hey, I love making new friends as well. So, with that all said, 2025 is going to start off just a little different than kind of like last year, like when I started the podcast. I am going to take the first several episodes and it's just going to be me. We will definitely get back on track of interviewing different creatives or small business owners leading into like the February-ish timeframe. I just decided, you guys, to take these last 2 weeks of the year off and just completely disconnect. Well, I can say like almost disconnect. I wanted to enjoy just some really good downtime with my family and friends. And I didn't want to have to worry about putting out videos, putting out a podcast, going live, making sure every single day I had something to post and it's just always like content, content, content. And I love doing it. I love the grind, you guys. But I really wanted some downtime because I really think it is so good for your soul and for any creative just to take a step back. You cannot always be on the go, go, go. And these last few weeks, you guys, everyone, has been thinking about like the holidays, and it was just really a perfect time to take a step back. So it has been just amazing for my soul, for my creative spirit. I feel so refreshed. But I can honestly say getting back into the swing of things this week has been a bit hard. I really was enjoying that downtime and just, not doing the grind. grind. And I love the grind, like I said. Don't get me wrong, but it's just been hard getting out of that relaxation mode and back into reality. So with that all said, what does 2025 have in store for the podcast? Well, this year I am going to continue to talk about all things business and interview the creatives like I talked about. But I want to dive into more of the creative side of things and like the DIYing side of things. Just really dive more into that aspect of it, more of like the lifestyle aspect. So you're going to just see some, different, podcasts every now and then showing up about just different aspects of, me being a small business owner and those sides of things. So I have a ton of topics on my list, and and I'll also be giving you guys just lots of tips and tricks throughout the year too. I love giving you guys ideas, and really an insight into running a small business. So, I feel like even though I've hosted 41 episodes, I've really only touched on the very tip of the iceberg on different topics and finding different creatives to interview. So, like I said earlier, if there's a topic that you'd like to, like me to talk about, or a creative that you'd like me to interview, definitely let me know in the comments. Typically, the topics just come to me each and every month, but honestly, like I love hearing from you guys, and you guys are, you can feed me with ideas and suggestions also. So I'm going to love to see what you guys all write in the comments, of different creatives or different topics to talk about. So, and that really is all I have to say about the podcast for 2024 into 2025. I'm loving doing this. I love showing up for you guys and chatting. I love creating my videos, but this is just a good way for me to talk about a topic real quick and give you, the ins and outs of whatever I want to discuss, or like I said, interview some amazing creatives or small business owners. So, I look forward to where 2025 is going to take this podcast. And, in next week's episode, I'm going to start off and kick off the entire podcast season, talking about organization. And I'll be giving you my top 10 tips of getting organized so you can run a more efficient business. So mark that one on your calendar, guys. So next Thursday, we're going to talk about all things organization. And as of yesterday, I did kick off in my group page. Well, you'll have to find it. I'll have it linked down in the description below. But if you want to be part of an organizational challenge, I am hosting one over on my group page. And I have done this every single year with my membership group, and it goes over so well. And it really helps start the year off strong. You just feel more efficient. You feel more creative when you're working in an organized space. So every single year, each and every one of us picks a space that we have to reorganize. And you would think that after doing it for so many years, we wouldn't have any more spaces to organize, but we still find them. And so if you want to be part of a organizational challenge with me, head on over there. It is a 30-day challenge. What I'm going to have everybody do is post a before photo and an after photo. And I'll give you guys some tips throughout, those 30 days, and some organizational, different pieces that I have discovered that work really well in my space. So I'll be giving you tips and tricks with that. But if you want to be part of that, head over there. But you have to be willing to show your space. I was a little embarrassed about my space, but I still showed it. So, but yes, I hope to see you over there, for that challenge. Now, if you guys are listening on any of the podcast platforms, do not forget to rate, review, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any episodes. And if you are watching on YouTube, definitely give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think about that. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel. I want to see my podcast channel grow. I do have my regular YouTube channel where I post my videos, but my podcast channel I've separated. So definitely give me a subscribe. You can also find me on Instagram, Facebook at Sonnet's Garden Blooms, where I just post a ton more content over there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I know it was a bit short, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. So we'll see you next week, and you guys have a great one. Bye.